Block sanding a nice thick layer of primer surfacer is how you get bodywork perfectly straight. So today we're going to take a close look at some strategies that can help you do that. The tools that we're going to be using today is a block like this. It has 120 grit on it, and don't be afraid to start out with 80 grit if you need to cut this down real fast. And then you can move to 120. So this has 120 on it. It's a block, medium-sized block. We're also going to be using a rubber block like this, and that also has 120 on it. And this block I just wanted to show you is just a tad too long. So, you know, there's some curves and stuff that it won't follow real good. So it is a bit too long. And so we're going to use these two guys. You can start anywhere you want. You can start here, here, here. But we're going to start down here today. Sand the flat area. Put a piece of masking tape. Sand up to that masking tape. Then do this and move on up like that. So I'm going to start here, and we're going to coat it real quick with a light shot of black paint. And we're just going to be using some cheap spray bomb black paint. And this is going to be a little bit of a guide so that the low spots end up showing up. And we'll let that dry for a second. Now, when you sand this, all those little black dots are going to show up in the low areas. It'll help you see better. It's always a good idea to wear a dust mask when you're sanding primer, but we're going to skip that today so that I can talk. We're going to start with this block, and we're just going to concentrate on this flat surface and see how this works. If it's too big, we'll use the smaller block. And I'm just going to sand on an angle like this. And I'm hardly putting any pressure. And I'm going to stay away from this body line. I'm not going to go over the top. I'm just going to go up to the middle of that body line. Just right up to there. And so far so good. I don't see any real low spots showing up. And let me move the camera in real close so you can see what we have at this point. And a close-up shot reveals that we do have a little bit of a low spot right in here, and maybe here, but that could be because we haven't sanded it enough. So let's see what we have after we sanded a little bit more. And I'm being real light up by that body line. And it looks like it's going away there. We do have just a little bit of it left. But we got to be careful. We have a little bit of a body line here. And I'll get that later with the little block. And we see it's starting to come out. And now we did hit a little bit of metal right there. And our low spot hasn't gone away yet. So we'll go a little bit more and see if we just can't get that guy to disappear. And I think we can get the rest of that, just a little tiny bit in there with this block. And that's it for that flat area right there. That flat area is perfect. Now we're gonna, after we do the rest of it, we'll reprime this and finish sand it. So let me throw some tape on that body line and then we'll block the next section. And now we're gonna throw a tape line on the flat surface that we just blocked to protect it. And we're gonna go right, we're gonna lay it down so that we like our body line. And I don't like that, so let me change it a bit. It's got to have a little bit of a curve to it. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Now you can look at it from every angle, make sure that you like it. And then we're going to block down to that tape line. So we're going to start blocking this, but we're not going to totally, we're going to look out. There's a little subtle body line right there. So and I'm sort of rolling it right there. I don't usually use anything but these two blocks. No, I don't use any round things in the rounded body lines. I just use the block. And I'll worry about this later. I don't want to mess that up. I'm going to stay away from that and come over there with the small block. And we're not sanding on top of this body line here. We're just going right up to the peak of it. And now that I got it pretty flat, I'll come around to the other side with the smaller block. I know that it's flat. Now I can work a little bit here with the smaller block. this real light going up to that tape. And this back here can be rounded off. The body line ends about right here, so we're just round that off. And then we'll fix this up later. Right now we're just worried about this section right here. And I think that's pretty good. We did start to hit a little filler right here, but it's okay. And now I'll just ride it right across that on an angle, and we'll be able to pull our tape. And that's a nice straight body line. And again, now that we have this surface finished, nice and flat, we can run our tape. And this one does have a bit of a curve, so we're just gonna pull it sort of snug, and I think that looks good. Yeah, that looks good. And you can see there's just a little bit of where I sanded above the tape, so that when I sand down to it, it'll be real nice. And let me get a close-up shot of what that looks like. And here's a close-up shot of that tape line, and you can see the crown is right about here of the body line. But I did sand past the crown a little bit, so that now when I sand down to the tape line, it'll be two sanded parts meeting right up to each other. So let's go ahead and sand down to that tape line. And I'm using the block edge and just going like that. We'll go on this angle for a little bit. And I'm only worried about this curve right now. I'll worry about this later. And we're just going to do this whole curve all the way down, sanding up to that tape line. And now I'll move over to the other side. And finally in the back, we have a body line right here and one up here. So I'm going to start up here, pull the tape to this one, and do down here. So we'll just, and this is a sort of subtle one. You really can't see it, but it's there. if you don't use the tape, boy, you can't see a lot. I mean, you'll think you got it, then prime it again and it looks horrible. So, I should have the trunk open, but so now we're going up to that. Right up to that guy. So that took care of this body line. And now we're going to tape like that. And sand up to this tape line. And again, I should have the trunk open. Let's go with it. Sometimes it helps to go around in circles. And we'll worry about this when we work on the bottom. And I think the tail light covers up just a little bit of that, hopefully. Round that off a little bit. And we'll pull our tape on that. Now with something real small like this, you can fold a piece of sandpaper over and use that as a block. So we're just going to sand up to this tape line and that guy. And we're just going by eye on that round part for right now. Well, that's going to be it. Let's see what it looks like after we prime. But you can see, you can barely see what that looks like. And just come around there like that. That's where the corner of the tail light is going to go right there. Now, after a couple light coats of primer surfacer, we're ready to finish sand and paint. I hope you enjoyed this video on block sanding difficult areas with multiple body lines, and if you did and you'd like to get my latest videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.